are going to cover the second part of the visualization. And if you have not seen the first part, please go and visit and complete that tutorial. Try to practice on that and then come to the second part. So today we are going to deal with some interactive graphs. So if you have seen the graphs previously, they were good for visualizing. They were giving us some kind of information and useful for taking decision. But to get the most out of it, we are going to see some more new features like a 3D model or some more information from the 2D graph itself. So those we are going to cover. So for that you need to have all this, like the part that I have selected as of now. Those are the main thing that we are going to use, but you can import all the others as well, and you can get many errors if you don't execute this go offline thing. So because of this we are able to see the other 3D graphs and some of the interactive graphs. So make sure you have no issues in this import, and if you have any errors like this module or some ABC module is not found, you can use pip install and the module name without this hash. I hope you are clear with this command, because we are executing this command in every module because of the new libraries that we are having, or as per your requirement. Okay, so this is clear. Now we are going to import a dataset called Iris, which is internal to Jupyter Notebook. So this is provided for the practicing sake, and this for this you need not to import anything. This will be there in your Jupyter. You simply need to use sna.load dataset. So if I go to describe and see what all content is there in that dataset, we have 150 records, but for the analysis purpose we will be using the first 5 or 6 records. So that is up to us again. Okay, so previously we have seen the plot functions and all the parameters, but today we are going to see some useful stuff. Like for suppose we have this 1 2 3 4 5, then 19, okay, then 6 7 8. Okay, this is our data set. So if you see, there is some consistency or some relation between all the data, except there is some different kind of data, that is 19. So we call, like if we draw a graph for this, 1 2 3 all will go in sequence, some linear sequence, but because of 19 the graph is getting, we can say, displaced or something like that. But our graph is not in sequence, or the trend is getting disturbed because of this point. So we call such points as outliers. Okay, so if we see here, that was one outlier which could cause, or which could give us some issues while doing the computation and all. So we try to remove all this kind of computation, all this kind of outliers. So one way is like normalizing. Okay, so if we see, the second way is the scaling. So what happens in scaling is, suppose there is a distance between 1 and 19 is 18, the distance between 2 and 3 1, 3 and 4 1, 4 and 5. So there is some distance between one point to another. So if we similarly we try to measure distance of all points from 19, it is very high. So we try to reduce. So if possible we'll try to remove it. If not possible, we try to reduce the distance. So what we'll do, for example, just for easily understanding, I will take an example that I will divide by 5 everything. Okay, so this time 5 by, like 1 by 5 will become 0.2. Similarly 2 by 5, 19 by 5, all I do. So 19 by 5 will become what? 5 3 is 15, 3 point something. Okay, 3.8. okay, yeah, 3.8. So okay, if the calculation is wrong, that is fine. Now if I take the distance between these two, initially it was 19 minus 1, 18 was the distance between the point 1 and the point 19, but now the distance has reduced to 3.6. So this distance is reduced because we did some scaling. Okay, we reduced the scale from some initial measurement to the current measurement. So we don't want to like disturb the measurement, because then the interpretation that we could get is something different from the actual thing. So we try to change the scale in such a way that it is easy for computation. So that was about scale changing. Okay, so here what we are doing is, for scale changing we divide every number by 5. So that was just an example. So here one of the best method to work with scale is, here we are saying, okay, this is a simple plot. Here we are saying replace y with log y. So for every y it is converting into log y. So initially if suppose it was 1, now log of, okay, initially suppose it was 10, now log of 10 will become 1. So that's how it is changing. Similarly we can do on x. So log x, if it is true, we are saying that apply log on all the x-axis, and at the same time we can have it for log x and log y both. So as per our what we can say requirements and dataset, we can go with whatever we want, but that was about log x and log y. Next we'll go to the secondary plot. So what secondary plot says is that we have one graph. Okay, let's suppose we have one graph. Okay, let me see, this is not visible. Okay, we have one graph, and this is the some one curve. Okay, the graph is done, that's it. This is the graph. Now if I want to plot some other graph, but because I want to, okay, so if I want to have some other graph, this is the actual output. Okay, this is the actual output, but here I can see, I can compare it with naked eyes, but there will be some sort of like if I want to find the intersection where these two graphs are interacting. So there are some information which I could misinterpret when I see both of them as a separately. So at that time my intention is to have this graph in the same graph. Okay, so now I can see that here I can find the interaction. Okay, so that was just an example, but like this there are n number of other uses of having multiple graphs implemented in the same canvas or the same graph. So for that we go for the second axis. Okay, so it's like we had how I can say is, there is some data. Okay, I got some data and I'm trying to plot it, and that plot I'm not simply displaying, I'm storing in some object. Okay, and when I do the next plot, in that plot I'm saying, okay, we are done with the plotting, but in the same plot I want to have one more graph. So for that ax is the parameter and the value I'm going to give it. Okay, so here this green dashed thing is mine. Okay, if my cursor is not visible, the left hand side two curves are the first graph and the right hand side two curves are the second graph. So why they are again apart, that is because of data. But if the data points are fine, then we can have some graph which is like this. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now that was our graph. Let me execute this. Okay, this is fine. Now next we have something called, okay, this we have covered in previous tutorials, but yeah, this is fine. Let me just give you a brief again. So if I say that I want to have multiple plots done, okay, and here we are dealing with scatter plot of all columns. So when I don't have these two parameters, let me say, okay, when I don't have these two parameters, all the columns will be there in the same graph. Okay, but when I say subplot is equal to true, that is I am allowing it to draw multiple plots in the same canvas. Okay, but I also want it to, like, this is a bit confusing or some like I'm not able to interpret properly. So then I'll have a layout according to my wish. Okay, so now it is a bit comparable. Okay, so that was about subplots and layout. Next we have share x and share y. So here you can see, based on the data of sepal length, we have its own x-axis, and here sepal width, petal length, petal width. So if I see that all are having similar kind of x-axis, why? Because of the data. So this time it was a coincidence that because of the data we got similar 0, 50, 100 and 150, but there is a possibility, like for suppose y-axis units are different. So for one graph it is 0, 1, 2, for one graph it is 5, 6, 7, 8, for one graph it is 2, 3, 4 on y-axis. But I want to compare, right? So while comparing I want to make sure that x-axis and y-axis is like using the same units for all the graphs. So in that case I'll say that y share y, yeah, share y is equal to true. So now if you can see 0 to 468 will be for common for all the graphs. Similarly I can use for share x as well, but here by default because of data coincidence I'm by default getting all as the same, but if it is not same then it is bad for comparison. So in that case I can use share x and share y. I hope that makes sense. Now next is we are going to use a Titanic dataset. So this again we are getting from SNS, which is again a default I can say Jupyter database or data sets. Okay, now we are entering into something called interactive plots. Okay, I don't know the actual full form of iPlot, but I assume it is an interactive plot. So from now onwards, whatever we learned till now, we used plots and all, right, which is fine. So we are going to have the similar kind of interpretation, just a small parameter differences, and we are going to add I in front of every function. So what happens with this is, let me execute this. Okay, so here you can see I'm using some column on the x-axis and some column on the y-axis, and then I'm saying that it is an I plot, not a plot. So what happens with this is, for suppose this point, if I hover over that, I can see x-axis and y-axis information. So on hovering, I'm able to see some information. So that is why we are calling it as an interactive scene, because we are getting some information on hovering on that. Okay, and if you can see, this is just a graph, right? So you can use what we can say, a proper data and column to see properly, or you can say interpret. Okay, now the good thing about this iPlot is we have something, if you can see on the right hand side bottom corner, I have export to Plotly. Okay, if I click on that, the data used to create a graph will be moved on to the Plotly dashboard, and here I can see all the other options that are available to us. So for example, what I can see, instead of scatter, I can use this 3D if that supports it. Okay, I'll use something 2D because I have given only 2. It's not. Let me get back to scatter again. I'll use bar. Okay, you can see, so if the data satisfies, I can have the graph there then and there itself without writing code for it. Okay, and if I want to change something, I can change the data as well. You can see there is some, okay, I did too much. Okay, so you can modify the data and you can see the graph live here, and you can export, import, do various kind of stuff. So just go and play with this. Okay, so from here you can take the diagram to Plotly, but the vice versa, that is from Plotly to Python, getting back to the Jupyter notebook, that is not possible. Now, so that was about iPlot, and now we are going to do small tweaks in that, and we are going to play with that. So nothing new that we are going to learn, but we are simply going to use what are the parameters I have. Okay, so this is the Titanic data sets, and this plot you have seen previously. So the bar graph, it is like we need to have one category on the x-axis, like category kind of data on the x-axis, and its numerical value we can see on the y-axis. So this is a simple bar graph, nothing more. So if you can see, we have taken the head, the first 5, and for the male, okay, so sex is male, and its corresponding y-axis is p class. So p class is 3. So I can see for the first tuple, male is 3. So that's how I'm interpreting. This doesn't give me much information because I haven't provided it with proper data, but when we get a proper data set, we can use bar graph and all the graphs. Okay, right, yeah. So next again I'm taking 2 more classes, and here I'm using iPlot. So again, if you can see here, I have bar. Okay, so if I go to shift tab, okay, right, so this is very important thing. So many people asked me, what you said that shift tab will give me a suggestion, but here I'm not getting, because the first Titanic is using the head 10, and the result of this, okay, result of this is going to execute this, but I don't have the result of this yet. Okay, so that's why it is not sure, Jupyter is not sure that who is calling this function. So that's why I'm not getting solution. So what I can do is, I can store the result of the first in the x, and I can call it x. I need not to execute. I simply need to make sure that an object is directly calling the function. Now if I go and click on shift tab, what happened? Okay, now I am getting, oh no, 1 second. Is it because of iPlot? 1 second, let me execute and try. Plus, now can I get, okay, so x is an object which Jupyter knows. Now I can see. So what we were doing, we were seeing what are the options available for kind. You can see scatter, bar, box, spread ratio, surface, histogram, bubble 3D, let's try this. I have never tried this. Let me see what is the output. Okay, first execute this as it is. Next we are going to replace bar with this OHLC. Okay, what it is saying, missing open high. Okay, so that is not a suitable data that we have provided, but okay, we can use maybe some other kind of, no, let me see what are present. Kind, scatter, box, will try box, ratio, surface. Okay, surface, box. Okay, so you see, if the data is as per the chart, so we need to have a good knowledge. Okay, so when we use box plot, when we use histogram, when we use bar or pie, so if that is there, then we'll provide the data accordingly and we can get. Okay, that is fine. Here I'm creating one more data set with 4 columns ABCD, and based on that I'm going to plot here. So I'm taking on this first column and doing the plot. So by default the plot is used here, the kind is used as scatter. So if I hover on this points, you can see the second x and y. To at x equal to 2, y is what, at x equal to 3, y is what. So that's how this is our scatter plot, interactive scatter plot. And similarly I am using a bar here, and here we have something called bar mode and bar gap. So bar gap is nothing but what is the if suppose there are these first two bars are very close, okay, and I want to read it and I cannot read it. Okay, so I need to make sure that I use bar gap to increase the differences. So if I give, okay, where is it, yeah, if I give 0 point, okay, let me give 5 itself. No, something is, okay, let me get back to the old. It is executing now. Let me give 0.5. okay, where is this graph? Was this the same graph? Let me get back to old one. Okay, so you can see that the difference between, okay, let's focus on 1 2 3 4. Okay, third and fourth, gap between the third and fourth. If I try to increase the value here, I can see the gap will increase between the third and fourth. So that is about the bar gap. Okay, so here I am telling what is the data I need to pass. Okay, now you can play with this bar and you can modify. So here bar graph is like one column versus other column, that is x versus y. Okay, so here I am passing and x and y, so it is taking the data of x and y. But if I pass only one value, that is x, so then it will take the index and the value. So that's how it takes the data if we are giving it as a one column or two column. You can again play with the bar gap. And next we have something called bar mode. So this we have seen previously. Now we are going to see what is different values of bar mode available to us. So we have 3: overlay, stack. Again, how did I find this? Shift tab. No. Is this I need to execute? Okay, so here you can see head is there, right? Let me remove that and let me go to the documentation. So in shift in this bar mode, if I search for bar mode, you can see we have group, stack and overlay. Now let's get back here. So let's first okay, this was not there. I mean, yeah, these 3 were there. I think I need to zoom out a bit. Now it will be easy for me. So if I see what is overlay means. So overlay means what is there behind something. If you can see something blue is there under the orange, so I can see what is there inside. Okay, similarly if I try to group, so you can see at the first we have 2, right? So those are one over the other. If I say group, I can see both of them separately. Okay, I hope you are getting what is the group. Similarly we have stack, so whichever is higher, that will be shown as a below. Okay, so I can see the lower value on top, so that's what stack means. Now similarly we have already used the box, so you can try all the other kinds, but need to make sure that the data provided is correct or opt for. So here now I am going to use 3-dimensional array, I mean 3-dimensional graphs. So for that we need to pass for sure we need to make sure that we pass x data of x axis, y axis and z axis. So here I am creating a data frame. So with the help of random, I am creating a data on the values and 3 columns, namely A, B, C. We'll execute this, and okay, let's come to this after a moment. And we are trying to plot, I plot. kind is surface, so by default it is a scatter. And if we try to give if we try to use surface, it is going to like again check what type of data are we providing, and based on that we can get the optimal. So here you can see if I hover on this, you can see the y value is b. Okay, now if I come down a bit, you can see y value is c. So based on that I can zoom in, zoom out, I can rotate, and I can see where is my x value. Here y is c, here y is b, where is my y equal to a. So you can hover and try to you can here try to interpret how this 3D graph is plotted. Okay, so you can see what are x, y, z here. So you try to hover on that and try to understand what are the values on the axis and what are the values in the data set. So that's how you can make sure that in future whenever you see a figure, you can easily try to interpret the result out of it. Now coming to color scale. Okay, do I have no. Okay, so let me do a shift tab here. Okay, so here I can see I can modify the colors, but what are the colors I don't know. So for that, color scale, if I go, it is saying me that I can use this function called cufflinks colors dot scales. So cufflinks I have inputted as cf. Now cf dot colors dot scales will give me what are the colors available for scales. So that's what I did in the previous cell, cf dot colors dot scales. So here you can see let me use some good colors. Okay, anything, that is fine. So let me use paired. So the parameter is color scale is equal to this one. So you can see as per our whichever is pattern is good for us, we can choose. Now next we have, again this is simply a different kind. You can so why I am showing you all this is we need to make sure that we go through the description of each kind of plots, because we are not sure when we come across data at that time we cannot try each of the graphs. So we need to aware that all these graphs are present, so that whenever we see a data we can at least what we can say filter. Okay, this could be useful, this could be useful, this could be. So we are filtering and we are getting us familiar with what all the types of graphs are available for us. Okay, so that's how we can reduce the time taken for making any decision. So this seems to be a kind of different. Okay, you can play with the data. Now next we have 3D graphs as well. So here scatter 3D, I can tell kind is equal to scatter 3D, or I can directly plot. Okay, so this is again CF is what CF is like comes cuff. Okay, if I am not spelling it properly, you can. Okay, cufflinks. So here we are completely okay. So this is like what we can say, because I am considering only 5 points as of now, but if you have huge data set, it will take it can take up to 2 or 3 minutes as well. So you need to take decision that whether you literally is there a need of using such a 3D models or not. Okay, so let's try something else as well here. Okay, so I spent most of the time by hovering on each of them. So I wanted to see what happens when I pass only x, y and not z. What happens when I pass only x. So that's how I try to understand how the x, y, z are getting plotted here. So if you have already an experience with 3D graphs, that is fine. Otherwise you can just hover on that and try to play with the different graphs. Let's try to have a different graph. Okay, so I'll remove this for now because I want to hover on this, or I can say x is equal to this, and then I'll have one more cell where I'm going to place it just to see what are the parameters available for me. Okay, x is equal to, or yeah, not this, x dot. Okay, so I'll execute this and then I'm going to see the documentation of this. So here if I go to find again, spread bubble 3D seems interesting, so that's why I'm putting, nothing else, bubble 3D. Okay, what is the error? Key error 12. Is there something wrong with the data? Let's give it the same shape. Let's try to execute. Okay, so for one graph it is working and for other it is not working, means the data required for this, for bubble 3D is different. So for this I am going to go and google it, what is bubble 3D, what is the data type, or what is the format of data is required, whether it assumes only two attributes or two dimensions and places in three dimensions. So this is how I am going to see what are the graphs are available and what are the data types or what are the formats I can use in this kind of graph. So this is not to use it now, but just make sure that you are familiarized with all the kinds of graphs available to you. Okay, so just try to play, and if you find something very interesting, write that down in the comment section, so other people who are watching also can get to know about that. But apart from all this, you can play with this export to plot.ly, and there is nothing sign up or sign in required, for no API, nothing is required. You need to make sure that libraries are installed properly. Okay, so yeah, that's it for now. If you have any queries, please write down in the comment section, plus some of the interesting facts that you have come across in these 3D graphs. Yeah, thank you.